Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we've got a special whiskey. The Cadenhead Highland Park 28-year-old, 55.5% ABV Dustin. As you know, I got a bottle of this. Didn't have enough restraint one night and polished off the bottle before I could do a review. And I have been telling you, since I knew you had the bottle, please bring it up so I can do a review and tell people how great this whiskey is. And I shouldn't say that at the beginning of the video, but I am, because this one is going to be a stunner. First fill, sherry cask maturation, Highland Park 25, normally known for being a very balanced whiskey.
Yes.
The Highland Park 25. They do a little bit of everything.
Very balanced sherry whiskey, generally.
Very, very balanced sherry whiskey. Give you a little bit of smoke, a little bit of honey, a little bit of sweetness. But I gotta tell you, these independent bottlings, especially this one from Cadenhead, doesn't worry about balance, and they just worry about a delicious whiskey, and that's what we have right here.
So you ready for something crazy?
Give it to me.
This is the first age-dated Highland Park I've ever bought.
Good choice.
Yeah.
This whiskey right here, I bought at the Party Source in Bellevue, Kentucky. A buddy of mine, J.O., he was recommending whiskeys to me. He knew I was a huge Highland Park fan since I bought multiple, not many, 3 or 4 bottles of Highland Park 25. Also, big fan of the 21, which I brought you, the 18, a few of the Highland Parks, but this one right here, he said, buy it, Mike. I said, $380. It's a lot to spend on something I don't know about. Heck with it. Let me have it. From the first sip to the last sip, I thought to myself, I should have bought every one I could find.
Yeah.
I should have bought the shelf.
I should have bought another one myself.
You shouldn't have been able to buy this because I should have bought them all because it's that good. We're about to tell you why. CaskStrength, again, 28-year-old Highland Park, single cask, bottle or distributed by Cadenhead.
Yeah, and
look at how dark that is.
We were just debating if this is first fill or not.
You're right.
It doesn't say it.
You're right. I did say first fill at the beginning of this. I could be wrong, but I've had plenty of Highland Parks. I am about as well versed of a older Highland Park person as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Ralphie and I'm sure Hosslooney and those people had more age statement Highland Parks, but as you know, I have multiple versions of the 25, 48.1, 45.7, the CaskStrength versions. I love Highland Park. It is one of my top 5 distilleries all time. And let me tell you, this is up there with one of my favorite Highland Parks ever.
I mean, if this is not first fill, this was something they used for to finish off a whiskey for a year.
Look how dark that is.
They poured this in there because this is just so dark.
This is mahogany. If you can't pick it up on the camera, this is mahogany. So dark right here.
Yeah.
And the legs on it, so thick, so viscous. Still a punchy 55.5% ABV after 28 years. Nearly 3 centuries. Nearly 3 decades in the cask, and it's still like this. Anyway, this is one of my favorites. I'm glad I was able to bring it to you because I was selfishly drinking it one night, and I woke up the next day and said, oh, I don't have any left.
Let me tell you, I had to buy a lot of whiskey after I bought this to keep this one from being destroyed because...
You've been hoarding it. I've been asking you to bring this up for months.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, so the last time I opened this, I've opened it once in maybe the last year.
Yep.
Or at least 9 months. And it was after I passed a finance exam. I passed a fairly difficult test. Had a couple coworkers not pass it, so I took the test.
Congratulations.
Passed, and I instantly opened it.
Dustin's a nerd.
Yeah.
He knows stuff. He beat me in chess, and that's saying something. All right, let's get to this nose, Dustin. What are you picking up on the nose, buddy?
It's old. I mean, instantly I just get that old, it's like you go into an antique store and you're smelling that old wood.
But they just dusted it.
Yeah, they just polished it.
Yeah, I can smell the pledge on 100-year-old sherry wood or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're just smelling that beautiful old antique and they've just retouched it up where it's nice and clean.
It smells clean, but it's old, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like an antique store just got a deep clean, and you're walking around the wood furniture, and it's just there.
But you're getting that earthiness, you're getting that bitterness, you're getting that, but also the rich sherry sweet. It's so sugary.
Dark plum.
Yeah.
So sugary. It is just so dense.
Yeah.
Rich and full.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly struggling to even figure out what the malt is doing here because the oak and the sherry is just so upfront in your face, but you can tell there's a nice honey, vanilla, sweet. You can't really tell which it is, but you can tell there's a nice sweet malt behind all of this, but it's not a boring malt. It's not clean. There is that
No.
Highland Park malt where it's got a little salt, it's got a little peat, it's got a little
Buddy, I
earthiness.
tell you what, it's the honey. To me, it's honey, but it's honey, like where they gathered the honey and they got the ground in it, like it was like a savage just tilled up the earth and got the dirt with the honey.
I'll tell you, it's probably honey because it's Highland Park, and I tend to get honey.
So earthy.
I just can't get past it. It's earthy, it's oaky, it's bitter, it's just old oak. Like I saw a picture a while back of like, I think it was Springbank, but it was like a picture of like these old barrels with cobwebs so thick on them, like you just could barely even see the barrel anymore.
Someone forgot about this cask.
Yes.
In the back of the warehouse. And it was
that's
like, it probably was perfect 3 years ago, but man, it's still really good.
Yeah.
It's still 95% of what it should be, and now it's just mad.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's old forest honey. Black forest honey.
This has me thinking Dunnage Warehouse. I don't know if that's what Highland Park uses, but this has that dankness and just there's damp. There's like damp wood here too.
Damp honey. It's almost like honey was put into an old barrel, and that barrel was sealed tight, but it was in a dilapidated building that took on rain.
Yes.
That kind of smustiness.
Yes. But yet it's sweet and clean at the same time. It's got everything from that dankness to
It's dirty,
bright.
but it probably won't get you sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's earthy and it's dirty and it's oaky,
But it's been cleaned. It's.
but it's going to be okay. Which isn't a given these days. As we record this at the pandemic
Yes.
of Ohio. What is today? The 20th of March,
Yeah.
2020. So it's turbulent times.
Yep. They're saying keep to groups of 10 or less. So it's just me and Mike here. We didn't have anybody else show up.
Well, we had our friends,
Yes.
Excellent Whiskey, show up, but yes.
Yes. I'm told they can't carry the virus.
I tell you what, if it's the end of the world, I'm glad I'm drinking this whiskey.
Yes, sir.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, so the nose is just incredible. Rich. I'm almost getting like a dark cherry covered in dark chocolate with some oak in a dresser drawer that hasn't been opened in 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There was just nothing like this.
No.
What are you picking up on the balcony?
All right, so I'm lacking words, Mike. I'm telling you. So it's dark, it's dank, it's incredibly sweet. Where Highland Park tends, you can put some water. Where Highland Park tends to, they try to stay balanced, and I always get like a younger, not younger, but like younger than this, and very clean oak finish on the 25s. This is a whole other animal. It's sweet, it's rich, it is sherry, but it's got that. I mean, you could tell me this is a 35-year-old whiskey, and I believe it, Mike.
Dude, for my 40th birthday, I, from Master Malt, ordered a sample of Highland Park 40, the 47.3 or something like that. The old Highland Park 40, the 47% one. It reminds me of that as far as the oak woodiness of it. And we know it's only 28 years old, but my goodness. This had nothing to do with trying to be balanced or complex. This is Highland Park, sherried, one freeway, in a Lamborghini, going 190 miles an hour.
Yeah.
My
It's intense,
goodness.
it's rich.
Stingy, almost on the tongue, initially when you drink
Yeah,
it.
and when I say there's like some oak bitterness here, the sherry is so rich, so sweet.
It's not bitterness, it's just richness.
Yeah.
So rich.
I mean, there's some tannins, there's a little bitter, but no, this is not a bitter whiskey at all.
No.
This is dessert, but it's
This is the definition of a dessert whiskey. Now, it doesn't have the white chocolate that I get with older Highland Parks, the 25, the 30s, especially the CaskStrengths, but man, it is a dark, rich, dark chocolate.
Yeah, I'm still tasting this this oak.
The oak, for sure.
I want to say like
It's almost like I got bits of char in the drink that I swallowed.
Yeah.
Like with Blackadder, like
Yeah.
Rawcase, they had the bits of the cask in there. It's almost like the bits of the cask are in here, flavor-wise, but just they're not physically in it.
yeah. I mean, I could almost see something like a brandy where they've taken some like dark cherries and they burnt the whole thing, and then they've added like some kind of additional sweetener, like vanillas and stuff, and they've added. There's just so much going on here, but I mean, it's like dark cherry.
Again, I'm going back to fondue. I'm going back to the big cherry with the pit in it, but the pit's not in it, but that cherry.
Yeah.
That dipped in hot milk chocolate. It's been like flambéed and then put into a pot to keep it warm. Maybe just like with just maybe a little bit of amaretto. Like you ever had like amaretto and chocolate or something like that? There's a little bit of that amaretto richness.
And it's been slightly burned, giving it like a
amaretto
or brandy, something like that. But it's been on fire.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm going amaretto is the cherry note.
Yeah.
It gives me like this.
I'm thinking
amaretto
brandy that's
feel.
had like cherries like sitting in it overnight.
Yes.
And then like they've kind of burnt it, and there's some of that.
Or that when they poured a little bit more alcohol, they lit it on fire. You know what I mean? Sometimes when they do that with like fancy desserts or fancy drinks, they'll light it on fire. It's like flaming Dr. Pepper, but not that cheap, but almost like that. Almost like it's on fire, the alcohol, and a little bit of it burned off, just to give it a little snappy crispiness at the end.
Now that you put some water in here, I'm getting on the nose a tinge of soy sauce.
Man, to me, now that we put a couple drops of water in here, the cherry note really comes out for me. The dark cherry note and that dark milk chocolate. I'm
getting dark chocolate now, and I'm getting salt, which I'm saying like a little of that soy sauce. Just
you're right. There is a small bit of like a coastal salty element. I don't want to go as far as to say soy sauce.
I mean, it's an incredibly small thing. But it's added a level of complexity. It's like
the fact that anything can bear its head out of this just mountain
of old sherry whiskey.
Old sherry whiskey.
Well, I mean, we've drank the 30-year Glengoyne. I mean, this drink's so much older.
Oh.
So much older.
No. I mean, really, as far as a sherried whiskey, the only thing I could compare this to is a Highland Park 40. And the 47.3. I believe it's 47.3. If I'm wrong, I'll try to put it right here. If I'm right, I'll just say I'm right. But the older Highland Park 40, I get that oaky, woody sherry note from that. Wow. And then that honey, that cherry and that honey with a few drops of water, take a few steps up as far as prominence, as far as the stacking smells.
So now I'm going back to the palate after you added water. And now I am getting, I'm getting the heather honey. I am getting a ton of it. But I'm also starting to get the Highland Park oak notes I'm used to in the 25s. Where it's a little separated from the sherry. The sherry's still all over the dang place, but the finish has a little of that dried oak that I get in Highland Parks, which is a very good flavor. Mike, I'm getting so much heather honey up front. Gosh.
When you swallow, instantly honey. Dark, rich, Balvenie Ton 1401 Batch 9 honey, which I have that bottle. Batch 9 honey. Mm-hmm. The only honey note I could compare it to is that 1401.
Yeah.
That Batch 9 1401, that old, dark honey. Here I am again, talking about obscure bottles as far as what I think, but
this is an obscure bottle. You're not getting this
anywhere. And again, I know Highland Park lovers that I brought this up to. I think the guy who runs the Scotch Answer, it's Alan Brody. Alan, you occasionally watch my videos, Whiskey Hunter. If you watch this one, I know you're a Highland Park fan. You owe it to yourself to get you this, man. This one is right up there with some of the best Highland Parks. This is better than the Highland Park 25, 45.7. This is probably better than my Highland Park 48.1 25-year-old. It's not as good as the CaskStrength 2004.
Have you had that yet?
Yeah, I've had a sample before. I've had a couple of the CaskStrength ones. It's not as good as those CaskStrength ones, but it's definitely better than the standard version of the 25. It's probably better than the 48.1 if you really want to focus on the sherry notes.
I think it's a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And I was impressed by that 48.
Probably the best $380 bottle of whiskey I've ever bought.
Not even close.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's that stunning.
I've spent $800 and it's not close.
Yeah, no, I've definitely spent a lot more on whiskey and did not get anywhere near this. And again, J.O., another guy that I know watches the channel from time to time, used to run the Party Source Whiskey channel. I would never bought this if you did not suggest it to me, J.O., so thank you. Sadly, I only got one, but I get a second chance to enjoy it right here, and it's every bit the beautiful princess I remember every day.
What are you getting at the very end of the finish? Like what's sitting on your palate right now? Because I can't place it. It's something.
It's grain. It's something grain.
It's grain, but it's
beautiful. It's a grain. No, it's okay. So when I said earlier that it was honey tilled up with the dirt, and you get the dirt and the honey, the heather honey in there. There is a nice just barley richness that kind of sits on the back of my tongue. Yeah. Right now,
like it's reminding me of like maybe a bread aftertaste. That's just, but I mean like a.
It's some type
artisan,
of grain.
Yeah, it's great.
Some type of baguette with butter.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, and it's so different from the rest of the whiskey because it's not the sherry, it's not the oak, it's just something else. It's beautiful. I want it to never end.
My God.
However, it is starting to end, so I need some more whiskey.
Yeah, it's a barley graininess that is just rich and with a twinge of sugar.
I will say this: if you don't like it up front without water, because you're expecting Highland Park,
It's aggressive.
Water-
It's an aggressive nose.
water greatly brings out more Highland Park characteristics.
Sure.
Up front, it's because Highland Park's usually more balanced. They're trying to avoid the sherry bomb, and this is a sherry bomb.
Why? Why would they try to avoid this?
I don't know.
I love Highland Park. You know.
Maybe we need to go and buy one of these new Highland Park 30 years, because maybe they put all the good sherry casks in that and they've moved them out of the 25s.
I doubt it. I doubt it because the 30 is only second fill, from what I always heard. Maybe that did recently change.
Based on the current color, it's got to be.
I've heard 30 is all second fill. I mean, but I may be wrong. Maybe I'm not keeping up on it. But I will say this: I would trade any of my Highland Park 25s outside of my CaskStrength versions for a full bottle of this.
Oh, easily.
And I paid over $500 for every one of those.
Yeah.
Every one of them. I would just trade straight up for any one of them. I remember having quite a bit of reservation buying this for $380.
Well, I told you.
What a fool.
I told you I would. Of the bottles I own, this is one of the only ones that I would comfortably say, if I spent $1,000, I'd still be happy.
There are a few bottles of whiskey that I have that I said if I would pay more for it than what I originally paid, and this is definitely one of them. I hate to even bring it to this point because I just want to drink this whiskey all day. But as far as the whiskey score, where are you at?
95.
94. I put the four fingers. Yeah, 94, 95 out of 100. There's just no doubt about it. I have brought you multiple versions of the 45.7, 25. It's better than any of those. It's right on par right there with the Talisker 25 CaskStrengths as far as a whiskey experience.
I think I like this better.
Yeah, obviously this is a different whiskey. But if I had to choose, the pandemic gets bad, and if I had to choose between one whiskey, this would be in the short list of 5 or 6 whiskeys I would try. As you know, I got 150 bottles of it.
I'll tell you, this is my number one sherry whiskey, heavily sherried. And you know what? I hope I'm proven wrong and there's a better whiskey out there. But so far,
not the Glengoyne 25, not the Macallan 25, not the let me think. What were some other heavily sherried whiskeys that I have over there in the cabinet? Not the Macallan, not the Glengoyne, not Bowmore's Double Cask. I can't think of one.
Yeah. Maybe that Lagavulin 25 at some point.
That's a peated sherry, but it would give us.
But it would have to be something and it'd have to be peated. I think. I don't know if you could do I know there's a few ppms in Highland Park, but
I don't know if you could do it better.
I don't think you could do it better because I've had a 26 single cask Glendronach, which was as dark. They were darker than this and had all the Glendronach wonderfulness. I still like this better, although that Glendronach was really close.
Oh man, this right here is where it's at. It really is. If you get your hands on this, can't recommend it highly enough. I'm at a 94 out of 100. Not the 94 today in 2020. Like literally, other than maybe the Talisker 25 that I recently bought you, these are the best 2 whiskeys I've ever bought you in the 200 some odd reviews, or almost 200 reviews I've brought you. So thank you for bringing this back. This thing is just a stunner. I just want to drink nothing else in this the rest of the day.
I don't know what else how we can drink anything else.
You're not gonna let me do that. He's not gonna let me.
No. This is coming home.
So I'm a 94, Dustin's at 95. Strong whiskey source for this. Cadenhead, Highland Park, 28-year-old, 55.5, the 555s. Or if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, 5s. He was 5'5", 555. This is just 555, 5. 5s. I should have guessed 95. Anyway, we want to thank you for once again joining for another one of Mike's Whiskey Reviews. Dustin, thank you so much for bringing this back. This is an excellent whiskey. If you guys can get it, I want to hear about it in the comment section. I want to hear. And Dustin and J.O., if you happen to make it to this point of the review and heard your names, give me a little thumbs up. Let me know you made it this far. Tell me what you think you were able to get your hands on this one. Until next time, Dustin.
Happy drinking.
See you next time.